What's up, everybody? Roto Schlim. I'm here with Kevin. I'm here with Crystal. Today, we are bringing you the ROCKSTAR. And in our first round of shots, we're gonna bowl on beaten path, 41 feet, her favorite. Not really. We're going to throw some shots. They're gonna kind of give their vibe and feel how they're moving around on the approaches and on the pattern. So, without further ado, let's go.
All right, so I'm going to start around 26 with my feet, and at the break point, we are going to look around 9.
I need to step up if I'm gonna stay. I've been living here too long. It's time to move on to keep me strong. Black denim cover my skin. Every part of me is fighting to win. Sin City waiting for me. Around the corner, I'm aching to be. Double trouble heading my way. I need to step up if I'm gonna stay.
All right, so 41 foot, your favorite.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of the NanoStar Coverstock? You know, and this is a new technology in terms of nanoparticles, not as much as our really digging and aggressive. You kind of see that as far as the way the ball's transitioning a little bit for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not something like I have in my bag right now, and so it's actually really cool being able to get to see it go down the lane. It's just one of those things that, like, you see it and you're like, holy cow, like, this is really good.
Right, you know, and I think that's the whole deal of utilizing this material. Kind of this ball in general is going to be that guideline. I think we talked about that, right, as far as you throw the shot. And I think the other thing we'll talk about later is like core positions and some other stuff. But yeah, I think that's really, it's got a good versatile piece for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, I know you were a little 41 feet and you're like started twitching a little bit. I think we're good, right? I think we got some answers for you. So
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, let's get Big Kev up in here. See what my man's got.
All right, so we're gonna start right around like 33
Okay.
and get it to like 8, 9 down lane.
I've been living here too long. It's time to move on to keep me strong. Black denim cover my skin. Every part of me is fighting to win. Sin City waiting for me. Around the corner, I'm aching to be. Double trouble heading my way. I need to step up if I'm gonna stay.
You know, I know that you're new to the fam, right? And you're still learning cover stocks and cores and all that stuff. But I think from a cover stock wise, you and I have talked a little bit, you know, with this NanoStar material, it's nano, but there's a little less nano to it, right? And I think it's one of those things that you told me some of the balls you already like, and you're like, hey, but this thing's a little bit different. Tell us a little bit about that, what you're seeing traction wise with that.
For me, this ball's really, it reads the lane, but it doesn't read it super early.
Super early.
But
Right.
it also goes pretty quick.
Yeah.
It doesn't not see it. It always wants to keep going.
Right, and that was the thing, right? Like when we were developing this material over the last however many months, it's one of those things of, we knew what our microtracks did, but then we also, the other side of that is E-tracks, right? There's no additives in it. We wanted to get something that was kind of in between, and this is where that gap fills. You know, there's nano in it, but it's not a super heavy load of it, right? It's a different ratio. There's all a couple of different things in there, but it gives us a different type of read. It, like you said, it digs in the mids, but man, it's also got the responsiveness too, right? And that's not something we see typically with our nano material. So as you're learning the bowling balls and go through it, this will be something you're gonna learn to have fun with. So without that, we're gonna have to set you aside because we gotta bring in round 2. We gotta bring Miss Crystal back in here. And let's, you know, obviously make our move and, you know, because as you players with your rev rates and your ball speeds and all that fun stuff, you're making a lane transition a little bit, but I think we got you figured out. All right, let's see what you got.
All right, so now I'm gonna stand about 32, and I'm gonna move my eyes in just 2 boards.
I've been living here too long. It's time to move on to keep me strong. Black denim cover my skin. Every part of me is fighting to win. Sin City waiting for me. Around the corner, I'm aching to be. Double trouble heading my
Yeah. You know, I think it's one of these things, right? Like, as you guys have migrated in, and I think it's one of those deals like we talked about, you know, 41 feet's not always been your fave. But when we talk about bump motion reaction, you know, earlier we touched upon the NanoStar Coverstocks, right? It's got some, there's nanoparticles scattered throughout. I think the other part of it too is the fact of it being symmetrical, the rocker core plus AI, right? It's a brand new part, something we've never seen before. You've been throwing Roto Grip and storm balls for a little while now. And I think both of y'all kind of mentioned that I think the one it kind of relates to is a little bit more phase 2, right? I want to say, I think you mentioned even like a phase 2 being your baby or something like that at one point, right?
It is.
So I think in reference to that, you know, and the fact of this one measures in at 248 and 50 diff, it gives you that continuation in shape, you know, and again, something in previous metrics we've had over the last few years, you kind of like, you still kind of just keep going back to that phase 2, right?
Right.
And that was part of the development in this part of getting something that gets through the spot and then continues.
Right. I mean, I really love it. I mean, I love the phase 2, like it's my baby, but like this is like a great example, right? Like I can be a little bit left with it, and it allows me to kind of create that shape that like my eyes personally like to see. And so by doing that, it creates that comfort blanket for me. And so like with that shot there, I just, like we had talked about earlier, like just create the hold with the angles. And so I was able to be a little bit right of that, and it looked great, but then also moving left with it, it also still came around the corner and did its job. Like it never wanted to just puke out. Right,
yeah, exactly. I think that's it. I think we'll get my man Nuke back up here to see what he's got for his next set. I mean, obviously, we all know it was Crystal tearing the lane up earlier, so you got to make moves off of that. But let's see what you got here, big dog. Let's see you step off. You know, obviously you're gonna make a leap or a jump.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to about 40, so like a 6-7 board move.
Okay.
And just still try to get to the same area down lane.
Around the corner, I'm aching to be. Double trouble, heading my way. I need to step up if I'm gonna stay. I've been living here too long. It's time to move on to keep me strong. Like they don't cover my skin. Everybody.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the wild thing, right? Like as deep as you're getting on the lane, and the fact of it's a nano cover, so it's got like you said a little bit of teeth but responsiveness. But the fact of the symmetrical core, that rocker core, what is your take on what you're seeing with motion wise?
Yeah, for me, I mean, it's definitely digging in the mids, and it has a lot more continuation than I thought it would, because it feels like such a big ball, but it's really not. I mean, it allows you to do a lot of different things.
It's like sneaky like that, right?
Yeah. It allows you to do a lot of different things on the lane, and it gives you different shapes. For me, if I was to use these with a phase 2 combo, I think my phase 2 would be a ball I could play a little bit farther right with, because it's going to be a little bit straighter on the back end. And I know if I need a little bit more continuation, I think I can go right to this.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things too, like we've talked about between the combination of the cores and covers, and then also layouts, but just y'all bowl so much, I mean, it's your job, right?
Yeah.
Like you see that motion, you're like, oh, this totally plays off of that. You know, but whether it's this way or this way, side to side. And that's one of those things of, again, all about the puzzle pieces and making it all kind of fit together. And again, one of those things of, man, you got nano in the cover, and you're like, oh, I'm going to keep, I'm 40, I'm going to go 40 more. I'm like, man, like, we only got so much room in here, dude. We got a wall. Yeah. And he's like, I might have to rub against the wall just to get it, you know, create that shape. But you know it'll come back.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's pretty impressive for a low RG, kind of that higher diff deal. So there you have it. There you are. We're rocking, man. Get your ROCKSTAR. Visit your Storm VIP Pro Shop. Get you one on order today. And until next time, these ROCKSTARs, you're going to see them throwing it, hopefully a lot of times on TV. So until next time, we'll catch you later.